Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to work through an example speaking part 2 question and practice ways you can improve your grade in the test. So let's start with today's question. Describe a change that could improve your local area. You should say what it is, how the change would work, what kinds of problems the change would solve, and describe how it would improve your local area. Okay, I could answer this whole question by saying the following. A change that could improve my local area is an improvement to the garbage disposal and collection arrangements. In particular, more bins are needed and they need emptying more regularly too. This would solve 2 problems, the garbage in the streets and the related problem with rats. This would improve the general hygiene of my area and also make it a nicer place to live. This does cover the main points, but it's quite short, as it only takes about 25 seconds to say out loud. So how could I expand my answer? Let's have a look. Regarding the what it is prompt, I said, a change that could improve my local area is an improvement to the garbage disposal and collection arrangements. To expand this part of the answer, I could say a little more about what the current situation looks like. So, let's have another go. A change that could improve my local area is an improvement to the garbage disposal and collection arrangements. Currently, the streets where I live have large amounts of garbage which regularly piles up around the bins in the street. These bins are meant for small amounts of rubbish that pedestrians have. They're not designed for household trash, but I see lots of people putting their household trash next to these bins instead of in the correct containers. This is a much fuller response to the prompt, and you now have a much clearer idea of what the problem is. Just a little note about the synonyms rubbish, trash and garbage. Generally, rubbish is considered to be British English, and trash and garbage are more common terms in the United States. However, personally, I use all 3 because I've had a lot of contact with American English. Right, now let's move on to the how the change would work prompt. My initial answer was, in particular, more bins are needed, and they need emptying more regularly too. Building upon my expanded first point, I could say the following. I think there are 2 aspects to making the change work. On one hand, more bins are needed in the streets, and they need emptying more regularly too. Actually, there are no recycling bins in the streets, so these would also be a huge improvement. However, the other point to address is that local people need to be educated about where to dispose of their trash correctly. All of the apartment buildings have their own dedicated skips for rubbish, but I think a lot of people are not actually shown where they are. This is a significantly longer response, which includes some nice phrases for building an argument. Moving on to the what kinds of problems the change would solve aspect, my initial answer was, this would solve 2 problems, the garbage in the streets and the related problem with rats. This answer is fine, but just a little too short. So let's expand it and make it link back to what I previously said. By taking the 2-pronged approach of educating the local residents and providing better facilities, I believe this problem with garbage in the streets could be quickly and easily resolved. If people were to put the garbage in the allocated skip for their building, these street bins would not overflow and therefore the streets would be clear of trash. This answer is much longer and makes use of some nice modal and conditional grammar, which will help to achieve a higher test score. Let's finish with describing how it would improve your local area. I initially said This would improve the general hygiene of my area and also make it a nicer place to live. I could expand this by saying why, like this. First of all, this would improve the general hygiene of my area because currently the piles of garbage are attracting pests and rodents. It's common to see large rats in the street, and also birds will come and tear open the bags, spilling the food waste onto the street. Having the garbage in the correct containers would stop this happening. As a result, it would make the area a nicer place to live because not only would the streets look clean, but they would smell better and there would be fewer rats hanging around. I really don't understand why this problem hasn't already been solved, to be honest. Again, this is a much longer response, which as a result demonstrates a wider range of vocabulary and grammar, including some linking phrases that improve cohesion and therefore contribute to a higher score. I timed myself reading the expanded version of the answer, and it took 1 minute 5 seconds, which is just within the 2 minutes allowed in the test. And because it includes a wider range of vocabulary, grammar and linking phrases, would attract a much higher score in the test. Before we finish, just a little tip about linking your ideas in English. Depending on your native language, you might sometimes feel like the phrases English speakers use to link ideas seem a bit too obvious and direct or maybe lack subtlety. However, nice clear linking phrases are a really important feature of communicating effectively in English and will definitely help to improve your test score. So don't be afraid to link your ideas using those obvious cohesive phrases. Now it's your turn. Have a go at writing your own answer to this example question. Then read it out loud and time yourself. See if you can get as close to 2 minutes as possible, and then read it out loud a few more times. I hope you found that useful, and don't forget to check back for new episodes soon. Thanks for watching, and have a lovely day.